Americans have experienced ever-increasing levels of tragedy and senseless violence.
With 24/7 coverage on every screen, how do you handle the excess stress in a positive way? Our friend, life coach Reba Riley, says you can do it, and she's here to explain how. It takes a toll on us, I'll tell you, Reba, because 5 hours a day we're here talking about
you're literally
horrible stuff sometimes.
Yes, I know. You guys have the highest actual rate of difficulty with this.
Yeah.
The journalists do. But the situation right now is, whereas it used to just be journalists who had 24/7 access, we now have violence and tragedy on demand in our pockets, in our purses, and it's very difficult to deal with from a personal, emotional standpoint.
Outside of just turning it off.
Right, because in some ways you don't feel like you can do that. You know, at some point you have to, but at the same time you want to be informed, you want to know what's happening in the world. How much is too much, and how do you know when to say that's enough?
Okay, so the first point is we have to protect ourselves. It's absolutely up to us how much we can actively handle. Only you can decide that. If it is negatively impacting your emotional state, that's a time when you definitely need to step back. And all of us at this point need to take time to think, what do I really need to view, you know? So you really have to be active about pausing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But some of these things are things that society needs to address. So should we go ahead and feel sad or feel mad?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we must feel the feelings. We must. And so you have to balance what you can handle personally versus what we need to do in our society. And the way that you do that, again, is going within. But when you are feeling something, you absolutely have to take the time to notice what it is, name that feeling, so that it doesn't come out in a negative way. That's what we really need to guard against, because if we're 24/7 on violence, you know, tragedy, and we get sad and we get angry and it comes out at our kids or somewhere else, that's not positive. That's not the change that you're talking about.
Well, I think that's part of the difficulty right now. These are such charged issues, whether we're talking about gun control following the school shooting, or pick a topic that people, they immediately run to their side of the fence and everybody's just yelling at each other instead of finding sort of a constructive place to have a conversation. How do we facilitate that?
Okay, exactly. So this is how we use our feelings. So we have to remember that emotions themselves are neither good or bad. They are simply neutral, and they're energy in motion. So when we're having sadness, we're having anger, all this stuff, it's a lot of energy. What we can do with this energy, instead of lashing out or going to our side, is say, what can I do to make this place positive? What can I do in my very circle, in my family, in my community, to make a positive difference? And find something very specific that relates to that. For example, I have a friend who was very upset about the refugee crisis last year, and she immediately found an organization and she began volunteering. And that's how she turned that around.
It made it into something positive. Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
It really, we just forget that this energy that we have can be harnessed for positive good. So even when everything around us is negative, we have the choice. We have the choice to say, I can make a positive difference. I can make a positive change, even if I can't change what's going on.
Do you think it helps too to open yourself up to listen to other people's opinions? Because I think Bob kind of referred to this. We don't want to listen to anybody else. We just want to think what we think.
I think open dialogue is key to our society, and it's the only way that we're going to change things is to be able to come together across all lines, across all religions, across discrimination, to be able to change the things that are hurting all of us.
What do you think about with kids? It's funny, when all of this started to happen, and I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, how am I going to talk to my kids about this? They already knew.
Sure, mine did too.
It wasn't like I was introducing them to the facts of the case. They knew, they had heard, they had seen on their mobile devices, or whatever the case may be. How do you can't really take it away from your kids because they know already.
No, and I don't have children. I do deal with children a lot, and I deal with a lot of parents. This is where the using your feelings for good is such a key principle to life. So your kids are going to encounter that. They're going to encounter negativity at school, and they're in a situation where they're going to encounter it in social media as well. You can't protect them from it. So what you do as a parent is you do what you're going to do, and you say, okay, how do you feel? How can we use this in a positive way?
And you set the example.
Yeah, you set the example. But let's say that they're feeling super angry, like these kids in high school right now. They're doing the right thing. They're starting rallies. They're asking for reform. They're changing the negative energy.
They're doing something. Reba, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Reba's info at local12.com.